Today we're checking out Clavicular's empire is collapsing. I feel like I'm seeing some new news about this dude like every other day, and he keeps on just ruining his life. What's to, buddy? But let's get to the video.
What's poppin', y'all? Clavicular's life has just been in shambles since he had his own PR guy, which is one of the top PR guys in the game, just leave him in the dust after he refused to get help for his drug addiction, because now he's banned on YouTube and pleading with them to unban him. And you'd go on Twitter, X, and say, very sad news this morning. My YouTube channels, at Live with Clav and at ClavLooksMax, were terminated this morning with no warning or explanation. The channels consisted of live stream VODs and free courses created by me to help empower young men to be the best versions of themselves. Me and my team worked hard to ensure we followed YouTube's TOS terms of service very strictly, blurring out all inappropriate language and sensitive topics. Could you please help me in recovering my accounts? And the crazy part is, YouTube creators, Team YouTube, they usually reply and say, hey, we're looking into this, message us or something like that. They didn't even bother replying to this guy, and they reply to bums like me, and people even significantly smaller than this, they're replying all day if you look at their accounts. And funny enough, Nikita Beer, head of product at X, said, I have an idea, and he would probably just tell him like, hey, you should stream on here. But this ban is justified because, number one, this guy got banned immediately when he blew up, like late October or so in 2025. He got banned for what reason? It's probably promoting drug use, and you cannot do that. This is another thing. This guy got banned.
That's what I was wondering. How did he get so away with out there promoting like the M drug? How did y'all get away with this?
And when he had just overdosed, and they posted that VOD. The guy's doing drugs, he's overdosing. The brand is surrounding something that is illegal. Do you know how much of a liability that is? The funny thing is too, when he's trying to get it unbanned, he's like, we just empower young men to be the best versions of themselves. But in a clip that he says himself, there's another reason why he does this, and it's really just money.
At the end of the day, I wouldn't get on these streams and do this if it wasn't for money. The reason I do my kick stream every single day, and I go to clubs and I drug myself to the point where I'm able to actually interact in public, that is for money. I'm not passionate about the fact that I'm basically a addict to do this. Okay, I want to stop doing this as soon as possible. It's so obvious, and anyone who's got a brain will say the same thing. That's why I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, I do it for money. You know what I mean? People will do this trying to be a messiah. It's ridiculous. Everyone is in this for money.
I'm not even mad at him for doing it for money. Like, get your bag. Plenty of people are on YouTube just to get a bag, but it's just more about what he's doing rather than just being on YouTube that gets under my skin. And just how dumb he is. Like, every time you hear something about him, it's just some sort of drama or controversy and him just making stupid little boy decisions. That's really the issue I have with him. But I don't care if you're on YouTube for money, get your paper, fam.
There's a big difference. Not everybody does this for money. Like, for example, Speed's been doing this since he was a kid. Obviously, he needs to make money, but he started off doing this because he enjoyed it. And he continues to do it because he enjoys it. There are some people that, like Clavicular, I believe, that put themselves in the position to where it needs to be a money-making thing, and they hate every aspect, not every aspect, but the majority of aspects of going live. And he did that to himself. Because even last year, before his blow up, he would talk about his experience being expelled.
Not even a year ago today, when I got expelled from university, we're trying to help you by telling you God's honest truth. Here's the steroids I did. Here's the steroids I'm doing. Someone had to go ahead and get me kicked out of school, right? So I'm not a character. I'm not a well-developed character. This is a horror story, right? I wish that I wasn't a autist doing this rant right now. I wish I was walking around the dining hall like a normal kid, like a normal mother, hanging out with my buddies in college, right? Even if it's cope, even if college is the dumbest thing known to man, I wish I had that experience, and you guys took that away from me. So this is what you get. This is not character development. This is a horror story of what the happened. So I'm just going with the flow. I'm not going to sit here and complain about it any more than I am right now, right? So that experience got taken away from me.
So this guy,
I mean, I didn't know he got kicked out of college, but this just looks to me like it was just some young, oblivious kid who thought he was invincible and decided to just go out and start telling people he's doing all these drugs and steroids. I mean, unless you're an idiot, what do you expect to happen if you go around telling people you just openly doing drugs and stuff? What do you think is going to happen? So yeah, you're probably going to get kicked out, buddy. Just dumb, ignorant people.
I got expelled because he would post, and I really don't blame this guy for just being in it for the money, because he had posted thousands of times on a forum, testing things on himself, sharing this information. And what did he get for it? They figured out where he lived and they wanted to ruin his life, and they told him, hey, this guy's got a bunch of roids. And he got expelled from university because he had so much of it that they thought he was distributing it. Really, they just wanted to get rid of him. But this is also potentially some of the content that got him banned. This was a video on his old channel, his initial channel that got banned. And he's talking about like, yeah, I was telling you guys the exact protocols, the exact drugs that I'm doing. You cannot say that on YouTube. And what's funny enough is that in the same video, he would talk about not being a character or a jester for people's amusement.
For some reason, the whole Cookieverse thing. It's cool, it's fun, there's a lot of people going around. But people are thinking, oh, Clav is such a well-written character. Clav is so entertaining. He's so unique. And, while I appreciate that, understanding that there's, quite a lot of depth to my story, I am not a jester for your amusement, right? I am not a character. This is not some fucking TV show, right? Where I'm coming on here trying to entertain you, motherfucker. This is the cruel, hard world. So I'm done with this title being thrown around. All right? Well-written character. Okay? You think this is a joke? We live in one of the worst societies ever throughout the entire history of the world. Quite literally. You have to be in the top percentile to even be looked at with a shred of romance, with a shred of attraction by women in this day of age. So when people are sitting there on TikTok like, oh, wow, this edit of Clav is cool, or Clav said this, or Clav, oh, he's such a crazy guy. Motherfucker, you think that I'm doing this as a form of entertainment when I have to stay up for 3 days in a row, high on crystal, right? Trying to suppress my appetite and get hollow cheeks, right? Is that supposed to entertain you?
Yes.
I can't even talk to people without some sort of version of benzos. I need fucking Razolam just to be able to have a conversation like a normal person. Is that supposed to be entertaining to you?
Funny enough, a little bit later, he would turn into that character for the opportunity to make more money, which is understandable when you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders. But another reason why he got banned is because, well, the first reason is because he's evading a ban. That's why they didn't give him any warnings. Like the first account, they just clapped because depending on how bad what you did was, they won't even give you a warning. They'll just get you out of here. Like currently, a bunch of people are getting banned for like inauthentic content or just stuff that they believe that was made with AI, and they're clapping these people. They're not saying, hey, look, here's strike one, here's warning one. No, they're saying this entire channel, we don't like the quality or lack thereof. It's not real enough for us, and the AI is clapping them and banning them. And people are getting packed up with some of them claim that they have real authentic channels. I don't know, I haven't looked that far into it. But if you make another account after and you try to keep it up, you're donezo. You're already banned, so those are just going to get packed out too. So what he needed to do was not make these accounts. But what usually happened is someone else made them for him, and it was like kind of like a proxy, but they were like, nah, we're getting rid of this guy. So that's point number one, because there are people that are smaller than him in his sphere that are doing the same thing and talking about the same things, but they didn't get banned. And why is that? Well, simply because of how big he is. Yeah, that's it. Like this guy, they just dropped a Hulu documentary with his face on it. All of the slang, everything that is good.
Y'all gonna watch that documentary?
for him. That makes him more famous. People are copying his slang. They're all, taking the same protocols as him. Everybody knows this guy now. That's also what makes him a gigantic liability for YouTube, because if some outlet comes out and says, well, YouTube, they're platforming this guy that's telling kids to hit their hammers on their faces and, do all of these other things that he's suggesting people do, and some that he's trying to tell people not to do, but showing people that he's doing in content every day, that's a huge liability. So if you are one of the most famous guys and you're representing that, they're clapping you up. Like for Andrew Tate, they clapped that guy up once it was time. And his content was nothing compared to Clavicular. He wasn't doing drugs. He wasn't doing anything illegal, like not in his content at least. But they just said, hey, there's a lot of backlash on this guy and he is getting ultra famous. We don't want him here. Another similar situation happened with EDP. So EDP wasn't because he got caught, because there was another guy, a guy by the name of Mini Lad, who got caught in a similar situation as EDP, and it was with a real person. So it was a real girl that he got caught chatting it up with. And EDP situation, he tried to meet up and he met up with a decoy. But this person, it's worse because it wasn't even a decoy. And his channel's still there. It's got 4.3 million subscribers. Does he really post on it anymore? Here and there, not really. It's been several years, but this guy got caught and he didn't get banned because EDP's news was everywhere. He was not affiliated, but he was known as like the biggest Ravens fan, and there were headlines about it, news stories. It became national news, the EDP situation. So much so that it became a phrase that's associated with something you really don't want to be associated with. So YouTube just clapped and they said, oh, we don't want to deal with this. Get the hell out of here. And they do that all the time. So that's another reason why he had to play by the rules, and he chose not to, and they packed him up. And some people say like, yeah, he's safe, but you really want to be on this platform. And this is the problem with what happened to this guy. Like for instance, now he's getting prayers, or some people are calling it spells, casted on him, that his audience is turning against him.
Shalom, shalom.
Hi,
Shalom, shalom.
how are you? Shalom.
Shalom.
How are you?
מה השם שלכם?
What's your name?
Clive.
כבוד הרב, מה נשמע? מה שלומכם?
ברוך השם צדיקים, ברוך השם, ברוך השם, השם ישמור אתכם צדיקים, אוהב אתכם.
אין לכם הרבה כבוד הרב.
הצלחה, הצלחה גדולה, הצלחה גדולה.
What is happening? What am I watching?
קוראים לו קלאב, ברנדן קוראים לו, your real name.
Braden.
כן, הקדוש ברוך הוא בעזרת השם יברך אותו, ישמח אותו.
Say like
God
all the
bless
prize,
you.
all the blessings,
Hot dog.
כל הטוב בעזרת השם.
all the blessings.
הוא עכשיו, יש דבר חדש, כבוד הרב, קוראים לזה סטרימינג, הוא בין החזקים של אמריקה. היה לו החודש 2 ביליון אנשים שראו אותו, מאוד מפורסם, ילד טוב. אני שותף איתם בכמה...
So here you have it. It's like, oh, this rabbi's calling a blessing on him or something like that. Some people call it a blessing. Some people call it a curse. Some people call it a spell. I don't really know what it is. I can't understand it. But he did get a Snapchat account back the next day. But this is hilarious because this is the same guy that was in the infamous Clubacost incident. He was also, prior to that incident, he was banging the song himself late last year. This guy was he invited Nick Fuentes to interview with him a year ago, and he built this audience. Like, he's not a political guy, but he's definitely not the guy that's just gonna have a rabbi running a prayer on him. That's like, usually you would think like he's like, not
He looks like he has no idea what's even happening himself.
I'm not with that. That's like a you thing. And even his audience, they would be really upset with him. And they're like, dude, what the hell is going on? This is boring. Like, for example, his own community. One post is just saying like LMAO, and it's just him doing gambling nonstop, possibly because he has to meet the quota for gambling, but also to make sure that he's not doing drugs because he needs to do drugs to stream. And I think he has to stay sober, or claims that he's staying sober. I don't know if he is. And you've even got people saying you guys should reconsider Clav's deal. He only gets like 1K real viewers when he gambles and is very unenthusiastic. He also tells everyone not to gamble. No point giving him 15K a day at stake. That's where he has to deal with. And there's another person saying there's no point in watching Clavicular anymore. Don't tune into his streams. He doesn't care about content or the fans anymore. He only cares about promoting his garbage club and gambling. And this is the issue. People will whine no matter what you do in your own community, but the situation with him is he's just lost in the sauce. And the problem is you can avoid getting lost in the sauce if you got the recipe. And the recipe is your morals. Like, what are you standing on? What are you based on? And what are you willing to stand for and not bend to? And that can be anything. Like, for example, like gambling is evil, quote unquote, if you said that and you were very against it, and then you hop on it, that doesn't look too great. If you never really had much of an opinion on it, it's not so bad. But for Clavicular here, he's like, yo, this person sold out. He's getting, blessings put on him. He's into business with shady characters. He's gambling now. Every single thing, he's allegedly running an OF agency. Every single thing he complained about society ruining young men, he is now selling and shilling. So when you really have nothing left to stand on, you better be one of the best entertainers, because that's all that's left. It's like, what is the jester going to do for us today? What is the performance that he's going to put on? Because one thing people will never miss is a circus act. And they'll be there for that. But is that what someone wants to be for the next who knows how many years until he's able to be set for life? I don't know. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, subscribe.
Okay. So, I mean, I never really liked this dude, Clavicular. I never liked him, and he was never interesting to me. When I first heard about him with that looks maxing, with the face beating stuff with the hammer, I never imagined he would take off the way he did. But I never imagined this whole looks maxing thing would get past just like kind of a trolling meme either. So who knows? But he does seem to just not really stand on anything. Like, if he's around the right crowd, I don't know if this dude is actually racist inside or not, but if he's around the right crowd, he'll start throwing the N-word out there just because his friends are doing it or something like that. And like I said before, it's not bad to get into YouTube for the money, but once you start doing anything for the money and you just show that you don't have morals, that's when it's just like, all right, this is a problem. This is a major problem, and I don't like this guy. So it looks like all of that is starting to come back and bite him now. Because, I mean, losing a YouTube channel, if you're big on YouTube and a large chunk of your income is coming from that, I could only imagine how terrible it would be to just lose your whole channel. Like, that would suck if you have, like, I don't know, maybe millions of subscribers or something. Eee, that would burn. That could ruin a whole person's life, for real, for real. But, I mean, I'm glad to see it happening. I'm glad this dude is not being allowed to put out this pretty much just cringe BS content at this point. Because I never even got why he was so big. And I know his fan base are primarily a bunch of strange people. Let's just put it that way. Different people. But, yeah, it looks like he's getting his just desserts. And I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. We don't need to be promoting this type of stuff, especially promoting hard drugs to essentially a bunch of little boys. That's pretty much a large chunk of his fan base. It's just a bunch of little boys. So, yeah, get this guy off the streets, get this guy off the net, go do something. Make him go do something with his life and figure something else out, because this ain't it. We don't need this. Be gone with him.
Get away from me.
I just realized I barely even used my soundboard on this. Whatever. But, yep. That's all my thoughts on this. I want to hear your thoughts. Throw your thoughts down in the comments. We'll chop it up. I respond to everything. But thank you for tuning in, man. And until next time, stay blessed. Peace out.